role model here. It's my role model. I guess a lot of people agree with me too. It's Sandy. Sandy has been very humble, but he has done a lot of work to the community. I think he's more popular or more well-known as a very successful venture capitalist and angel investor. But not many people really know his involvement in the community. So Sandy, I just wanted to ask you this question. You have been so successful in business, in investment, as an angel investor. That everybody knows that you're probably one of the most well-known angel investors in the Asian American community, and maybe in the whole United States, right? But why you have tried to do this community work? And what's kind of really motivated you?
Well, this is really talking about flashing my life in front of everyone. So I'm actually very much behind the scenes person. And then let me introduce about myself. And then the danger is you give me the mic and then nobody else have time to talk.
No, I will stop you.
All right. And basically, it's just that I was born in Shanghai, and then I spent my primary education time in Hong Kong, and then I have my secondary school in Vietnam, and I came to USA for college. And after that, I actually went back to Vietnam, and then in 1975, then South Vietnam 4, I came to the United States again. Then I was in business consulting, and later on, that I started my own company in high technology, and then because my high school buddy, he said he had a lot of invention. I said, who are we going after? And then with two of us, and then raised a little bit of money, and then we go after Intel, which is the wrong person to fight with. So, but somehow, we survived with, we changed our product line. And then by 1980s, I get into venture capital investments. But somehow, I feel US is too slow. I went to Taiwan. And then after that, I started to invest in United States again by living in Hong Kong for 10 years. And then in the year 2000, when you come back, and people say, you come back just right time. This is called the internet time. I said, what is internet time? Internet time is that currency no longer counted by money, is counted by eyeball. And then they say, what is eyeball? Eyeball is a currency. If it's sticky, then your eyeball worth a lot of money. That's internet time. And then I said, gee, where do I play? And then they say, you invest in the company, give them a check, and then if they pick your check, you win the lottery. That was in 1999. And then so I gave them the checks, and then in the middle of 2000, the whole .com crashed. And then that is something that sometimes in business, you jump in the pool and realizing that you don't know how to swim, that you start to learn how to swim. And then in the water, it's not really calm water. It's actually, there's alligator inside, there's shark inside. And then they fight off the shark and alligator, and then you learn your lesson. But somehow, my feeling of angel investment is really a partnership. The partnership is this: you isolated the people you think you can help, and then you become a family, you become a partner, and then I no longer felt that it is an investment, it's rather than you're helping each other in the family. So therefore, I don't qualify myself as an investor, but rather an associate with a family and hopefully develop long-term friendship. So therefore, in such a case, I don't consider that. And then fortunately, I joined Acorn Campus Venture from every one of them having exactly the same philosophy. And then they're all very successful. And I felt it's a really, really very important that you learn your lessons in business and you want to share. And then you, especially on the area that you have encountered difficulties and obstacles, and then you went through a lot of trial and tribulations, then in such case you can help people to avoid the pitfalls. So I think this collaboration is very important because in my life, I felt that I'm a lot of times very eager, take a lot of risks, and restless, and then not very thoughtful. But I was surrounded by a lot of friends. They become my angel. So therefore, sometimes when I fall, they win to help me to not to fall too hard. So it's the same way of, that's my mentor, David San. He did that all the time to me, that I feel that it is very important that I do the same to the younger generations, that I think we help each other. And then I was very lucky that even though our partnership, I did most of the return for the partnership, we only invested each time less than $1 million per case, sometimes $500,000. But on the average, our portfolio company, because they developed to be very resourceful, on the average, our portfolio company, each one of them was able to raise more than $100 million through later round financing and end up the IPO value, the merger value, and then the cash out value exceeded $20 billion. So therefore, for that, I'm very proud of it. But somehow it's this. Why you want to accumulate assets? Then you ask me the question about commitment. I think it's this. If you have a lot of money, is it in the bank? The bank determines what the money should be. It does not belong to you. You have no control of that money. If you somehow do nothing about the asset you produced, then what's the use of it? Because you just put it in. If you put it in the in stock, the company that you own do not really ask you the priority of why those assets should be used. So therefore, why you need the money? So therefore, I say, okay, when you die, you have the money for your descendants. But somehow, the time between you get the money to the time you die, the money is idled. So therefore, there's nothing. So what is your wealth? I believe the wealth is the benefit of your future generation, the benefit of the society. So therefore, basically, the one thing that your asset is useful is you put in use as soon as possible, so to pave the road for your next generation. The first, you pave the road for your own ethnic people. Somebody have your own background. You help out your own family. And then you want the whole community. And then I'm so fortunate in this country, I receive a lot of benefit, education, and also I believe the value of the United States. So therefore, you want to pave the road for them. So this is so important that you do not want your assets accumulated, idled. You want to pave the road for your future generation because this country actually need our contribution. And I think it's very important because we belong to very characteristic is this. This country is very basically from the past few hundred years. First generation, motivation. Second generation, look at the hardware. Third generation can be influenced. They are the most important. And then we belong to that group. And I feel that I think the investment in the future is most important. This is why we want to utilize all our assets as soon as possible rather than make it idle. This is your question, I think. Back
Yeah,
to,
very good.
Ed.
Why we wanted to focus on our own community?
Well, Edward, we have a conversation before we get on the stage, and I told Edward, I'm not a good model of an investor. It's because I stick around with all the people that I associate with. So therefore, in my life, I almost did not walk away from any investment. So I stick around forever with them. So this is almost like a family. So this is not I would not suggest using that as an investment model. But however, talking about philanthropy, I think after I came back, I always want to do something meaningful. I donate some money back to UC Berkeley, and then I started a program, multidisciplinary, between different areas to advancement of Chinese Americans' culture and how to integrate. And that is academic. There are plenty of people doing that. So therefore, I just recently watched on 60 Minutes for Foundation, their CEO I would say, the money have to be in the right place, not going to the rich and enrich the rich, but rather to the area of needy. Then I get into the area of the philanthropy of the needy. I was the president of Xinjiang Education Foundation for 7 years in the early 2000s. Then I felt that after 7 years, but I switched away from it. What Xinjiang Education Foundation is go to the poorest area in China, and then 20 years ago, they do not have money to rebuild the house, the schoolyard, and then no furniture whatsoever will help the poor. But after so many years, I would say the social impact is to the mass. That is too slow to change, and too many of them. Basically, you don't feed just everybody. I think the effort I switch around is that you help the people who can influence, help the leaders. When you have a lot of leaders, they will lead the people who are difficult out of their situation. So therefore, I switch complete around. I would say it is you just feed the people with compassion, the people with desire have a lot of social responsibility in their blood, and then give them, empower them, and then give them resources. And then if you develop 10,000 poor people in the poor area do not have resources, only a few of them will be leader. If you spend all resources to the leader who have compassion, then I think then you can change the world because it have to be in the right place. Then I think it is the empowerment really create new energy and new power. And then I think the importance is you have to collaborate. If you have all the leaders collaborate with each other, the combined efforts for all those leaders can make changes. So therefore, every time when I meet up with Ted, when he first got elected, I met with Jay and then met with Judy when she was first elected. I told all of them, every time I told all of them, we need you. Because independently, they can be very successful without stepping out to get elected. When they come out, first, their dedication make them not to pursue area of other power, business power, accumulation of wealth and everything. They give up all that. But that is small. The thing is that when you come out, you lose your privacy. You will be ridiculed by people. People will attack you. And then also I admire, they all, when I was supporting Matt Fong 30 years ago, I really tried to help him out into an area of folklore, develop a story, and voice training, everything. Because all of you just need that kind of skill set to empower yourself so that you can empower the whole community. So therefore, the need for advancement, and then also for, like Ted, you sacrifice so much. I mean, you have to fly between Washington and California so often, and then all those sacrifices. I think these kind of leaders that I think we should support, because the money, otherwise you put forever for the future, you better, it's just so little compared to what they sacrifice. So therefore, basically, I would say you want to enhance the leadership, you want to have them to work together, and at the same time, we want to develop our future generation by giving them to have the awareness to see the influence that they can actually change. So we're so fortunate that during the last 20 years, I supported Vision America and the internship program, and UCA have the internship program, and the young people were dedicated at an early age and dedicated into it. I think there's a lot of work to be done, and then put it this way, put it in the bank, it belongs to the bank. Put it aside, it's too late. I think everybody, especially this fundraising, be generous, because we are building the future of Asian American, the future of our youth, the future of the whole United States, because we are the first generation, second generation, third generation that really can contribute to this to this world. We know how to be competitive, and I think the country really depends on Asian American, especially Chinese American. And one more thing about, it depends on Southern California. The reason why is this, let me tell you why. Southern California, it's almost 30% of all Chinese Americans, 1.5 million people. Southern California, all the Asian add together, is probably about 15 to 20% of all United States. We have to unite it all together. Asian American United States, I think when I first come to the United States, it's about 2 million. In 2080, it's 3.5 million. And then it grow. I think 2060 is 3.5 million. And then for the last few years, every year, Asian American increased by 500,000 to 600,000. And then in about 37 years from now, Asian America will be the third largest ethnic group. Will be more than all the black add together. And I believe last year, Ted told me that Asian American in 2050 will be the largest immigrant population. It is immigrant that will really make America great, and Asian Americans, Chinese is most numerous, most motivated, and then we should take that leadership to make America great.
All right. So actually, I have a question. So what's your criteria? You supported so many of the emerging political leaders in our community, right? You also support civic organizations like UCA. So what's your criteria? Why you support them? How do you select these organizations or individuals to support?
As a matter of fact, I don't have a plan. So, but however, it is the the hopefulness. I think there's a certain eagerness and then certain urgency. I would say it takes a while for young people. They first graduated and they first they will form a family and then make provision for the family. It's very important. But after they become comfortable, I think this is time for you to come out and support each other. And that is a tradition. But somehow we have to start with young people. The commitment have to start early because you can always defer your commitment because, I want to make myself more secure. And then after that, maybe even more secure. So that is the thing that the apathy kills. I think the active involvement as early as possible is very important to all. So therefore, when you ask me, do I have a plan? Why? Then I felt that there are several things. See, I started Civil Leadership USA. It's exactly, I won't say I want to help the leaders and then give them momentum. So therefore, during the time, there will be rising up a lot of leaders. There are a lot of commitment within UCA. The board members is something like 20 of them. Each one is really impressive of their commitment. And each chapter will have a lot of people. And then I would say, in my opinion, is this: empower and give a lot of independence to each chapter. And so each chapter will take the leadership. But somehow we need to support each other. So therefore, basically, my agenda from my top down, let me tell you my priority. Number one is to give leader a platform. UCA, across the whole nation, will have so many platforms, and each platform will create dozens and even hundreds of leaders. So therefore, every place, I would say, if that is the one that will attract 5 million people, that is so important. That's the most important of all. And then the second thing is just that I spent a lot of time with S.B. Wu. He came to visit me. I came to visit him. But somehow, I felt that S.B. is so intelligent, and so I learned so much from him, but somehow he would not let go. Important thing, you have to let go, and then you can do unification. So therefore, this is why I supported the AAUC, and they have right now about 50 different organizations. Their board director have 3 Indian, 3 Chinese, 1 Korean, 1 from Indonesia and Thailand and Philippines. I think 5 million is not big enough. But in 2060, we'll have 47 million Asian American. That is big enough, but we need to unite. So therefore, when you talk about, I will talk about develop leaders, develop unity, and then another thing is just to start leadership from a young age, internship. What internship I suggest in all this area, so many cities. I was so amazed coming down from Burbank to LA and Chinatown to Alhambra to Monterey Park, San Gabriel, El Monte, Acacia, all the way to here, to Covina, West Covina, and all the way to Diamond Bar. Every place, we should develop local entity. So when all the entities are united together, I would say Asian American win almost every race if we are united. So, so the unity is important, and then we need youth to come up early enough, so therefore they have a long runway. I certainly believe, in my opinion, I just believe Ted will be in Congress forever. And then if Ted is in Congress forever, people know that there's no way that he can be unseated. That is the sign to be the candidate to be the Speaker of the House. I certainly believe that. Because that leadership is important. I think the Chinese Americans, and I would say not only him, and then we have a good bench. Because Grace Monk in New York, I'm pretty sure she'll get re-elected every time. And then this kind of pipeline, we want to build continual pipeline for that. And in such a case, this country, two things are more important, and that the general public do not work hard for it. One is healthcare, take care of old people. And Chinese Americans, Asian Americans are really in forefront of that. And the second thing is about the new technology. AI, software, robotic, and all those things, high tech, is really competitive in the world. The rest of the population are not so keen, but Asian Americans are in the forefront. In order to be competitive in the future, Asian Americans will lead this country, and then we must do things positively. We involve in the major society, and then we want to work to the point that it's not negative propaganda, but positive propaganda. They look up to us. And then we need to work hard. We not only need to interface with each other, we need to go to the major society and be a contributor, and then be a role model to a bright future United States, and it takes us to do it.